Rural America. From it springs so much of what we cherish as a people, our natural resources, and many of our cultural traditions and core values. Rural communities can draw upon broad and deep assets that have enriched us all. Yet many rural communities face daunting challenges to their health and vitality and have yet to feel the uplift our economy has generated elsewhere.
We just kind of see RCCI as a catalyst for change.
The people of the RCCI, the Rural Community College Initiative, believe in rural America. The RCCI is a network of rural community college leadership teams committed to honest self-assessment and the highest goals and expectations for students, for the college itself, above all, for the community. Our goal is to build the region's economies and increase educational opportunity for everyone. RCCI is committed to economic development and improved access to education, inextricably linked to equity and excellence. The following program is part of a video and print toolkit series designed to communicate the mission and the method of the RCCI, using community colleges to transform rural economies and the prospects of their people.
There's a lot of people growing up, I guess probably the last 30 years, most people and their kids, well, I'm gonna grow up and work in the mines and retire. You just thought it wasn't gonna end, you know, it's like when a kid, you know Christmas is gonna come every year. They're kind of in the same way, well, we're gonna be there every year, and then gradually you see like the company I work for, Southeast, at one time they had over 1,100 employees, and they're completely gone now.
Large employers, whether mining, manufacturing, government installations, or pulp and paper, provide important jobs for thousands in rural areas. Economic developers seek these firms, enticing them to bring needed jobs and opportunities. But most businesses are small businesses, owned, operated, and staffed by local residents. Smart communities nurture these enterprises too, helping them get started and become more productive and competitive. The challenges faced by small businesses are many. A large percentage of startups fail within 5 years, and often business owners lack the background and training to forge successful companies. In depressed rural areas, such challenges can be harder to overcome. Rural community colleges, collaborating with others, can help create a climate that fosters success for small business by encouraging entrepreneurship and the associated traits of risk-taking, self-direction, and innovation. An anchor strategy for many colleges is to operate a small business development center. The best of these centers offer expert help with business plans and financing, workshops on bookkeeping, marketing, and other skills, and a variety of counseling and advice. They teach people to think like entrepreneurs.
Make sure you're keeping your purchases separate.
In the RCCI, a good small business development center reflects a college's commitment to the mission of economic development.
Every state has a small business development center. And rural colleges, community colleges, and four-year institutions are active participants typically. Oftentimes, however, the economic development activity at the college is separated from the mainline mission of the campus. And part of what I try to preach is that it needs to be incorporated as a primary part of the mission, that it's education and economic development and entrepreneurship. Link those three together for the future of your region.
Education is key. Not only must a potential entrepreneur have the skills to produce products, but also to manage a business and market those products.
So many people come into this field because they like making the craft. And it's not just making a beautiful weaving. It's how are you going to reach your customers? What are your customers' needs? They're budding entrepreneurs, and what kinds of skills do they need to succeed?
Of course, businesses must have capital. A promising idea is finished before it starts without funding. This means proactively forming relationships with a variety of potential sources.
Small Business Center people need to be aware of all lending sources around them, to do partnerships, not specifically with dollars or lendings, but just to know who your allies are, to know who to call when that person walks in their office and say, I've got a business plan, I've got a great idea, where can I go get financing? It could be to a bank, it could be to the credit union. Any one of those sources can help.
In addition to providing counseling, instruction, and links to funding through small business development centers, rural schools are also administering community loan funds through partnerships with local banks to help businesses too small or high risk for conventional bank loans. Making entrepreneurship education part of the college's curriculum, often paired with vocational programs. Supporting business incubators that provide low-rent space, shared office equipment and services, and on-site counseling to budding companies. Finally, it can't be taken for granted that people naturally aspire to be entrepreneurs. In some rural regions, self-motivated, enterprising, imaginative attitudes are common. In other areas, there's less encouragement for the aspiring business person. In those places, people may grow up with expectations of always working for someone else. Where this is the case, efforts must be made to broaden the way people look at commerce and marry the region's cultural values with the values of entrepreneurship. In this video, we'll visit 3 schools taking steps to grow small business in their region's economies. Kentucky's Hazard Community College is offering hands-on training and technical assistance to new entrepreneurs. At North Carolina's Haywood Community College, business education is combined with the teaching of craft skills that have long been a part of the area's culture. And in Montana, at Salish Kootenai College, an innovative new entrepreneurship curriculum is being tailored for Native Americans, illustrating how business practices can be an expression of their values often at odds with profit-driven economics.
I don't know, ever since I was a kid, I've always heard if you could make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere. But now, if you can make it in Eastern Kentucky, you can make it anywhere. The opportunities just ain't there. You have to make them. And people in this area, they'll make them if they get the right chance to.
Hazard Community College serves an 8-county area that for decades has been economically rooted in coal mining. With mines closing or becoming more automated, the college took the initiative to explore alternative strategies for economic development. Looking to the small businesses in the area, the college began a program to help these businesses expand, as well as to support aspiring entrepreneurs in starting new businesses. Since 1986, the college has offered technical assistance and training to small businesses through its Business and Industry Technical Assistance Center, or BITAC.
Through the BITAC Center, we work with business startups through either consulting services or entrepreneurial training. The entrepreneurial training program is a 6-month training program that takes an individual through business startup activities. It includes development of a business plan, financials, and the total implementation of that business at the end of the class. The class is a hands-on, nuts and bolts kind of training program. It doesn't deal with theory, but actually how to start a business. Our clients run the entire gamut between a one-person operation up to companies that employ well over 100 people. They run anywhere from a service-type business, maybe such as dog grooming, through manufacturing operations. We also have worked with a lot of retail and service startups.
Yeah.
Wings or something, or let it be in the claws.
Well, you could use that like an eagle, look good just in. I was working for the local coal company, Southeast. They were starting to have union trouble, and they had a lawsuit with Kentucky Utilities was going on, and so it really looked bad, and I was trying to look down the road. My brother, he was always real artistic, and we started out printing shirts in our daddy's attic, and we just wanted to get a little bit bigger and just needed advice on how we need to do things. You know, you need business licenses and tax numbers and just things like that. And it just gradually, and then I went through the entrepreneur training that they had there. Some of the people come in, and they was like me. They was unemployed coal miners or housewives or whatever, you know. foremans and superintendents that I work for is taking classes there. They show you how to write business plans and, things like that you need to know. I mean, that's anything you do, if it's hands-on, you're going to learn more of it. And when you got more on the line, you're going to pay more attention, you're going to take it more to heart, especially if you have to eat out of it on Friday.
BITAC's services go well beyond just training. The center reaches out to bring in partners that have something to offer its clientele, whether they be financial institutions, chambers of commerce, government agencies, or working professionals.
It's the fundamental principle behind BITAC, and it says that we're going to partner with anybody and everybody out there that has anything potentially important for our clients to know about or to be able to use.
With its diverse partners, BITAC is able to quickly and effectively respond to the needs of its community. Hazard Community College, with its faculty, staff, and resources, forms the backbone of BITAC. Working together, they're changing the way the region looks at itself. In its first decade, BITAC has helped hundreds of business startups and existing businesses.
The people of this region have to be able to create their own wealth in this region that stays in this region, so that in the future, the land and the businesses are not owned by people who are outside this region, but are owned by people in the region, and the wealth is created here and stays here.
BITAC provides a needed alternative to Eastern Kentucky's coal mining tradition by helping to strengthen the entrepreneurial culture. In Western North Carolina, Haywood Community College also teaches entrepreneurial skills by building on a strength of the region, the mountain crafts. Their professional crafts program offers courses both in the making of crafts and in the running of a business in crafts, equipping students to take a traditional art form into a modern marketplace.
Crafts have become, over the years, a very, very sophisticated business. And unless one has the understanding of that, one does not succeed just by being a good craftsperson. So when this program first started, back over 20 years ago now, it was very, very unusual in that it was, as far as I know, the first place in the country that was dealing directly with business and marketing as tools for craftspeople.
Production Crafts is a 2-year program at Haywood Community College, teaching classes in clay, woodworking, fiber weaving, and jewelry. A challenge the school faced was changing the perception people in the area had of crafts, that they were just part of their culture, not of the economy.
Most people in the community saw the value of crafts from more an interest point of view, but not a vocational point of view. In fact, very few young people were actually getting involved in the crafts movement. There wasn't this passing of the heritage of crafts from one family member to the other any longer. So when we started this program, the idea was that we were going to continue those mountain crafts, but we also wanted to equip people to go out and earn a living in doing that. And so the curriculum was started with that idea in mind. The problem was that none of the instructors who were in this program had ever had any business training either. There really wasn't any background information. There was very little written information. There were craftspeople who were out there earning incomes, but they had done it by a totally trial and error method. And unfortunately, there were more errors than there were successes in their business experience.
Rather than develop a curriculum through the same trial and error method, Haywood turned to the professionals at Real Enterprises.
REAL is an acronym that stands for Rural Entrepreneurship Through Action Learning. Here in North Carolina, REAL is a nonprofit organization that runs out of Durham. We basically partner with community colleges and high schools to put on an experiential course of study in entrepreneurship, where students are learning entrepreneurship by taking their ideas, learning about their community and basically developing business plans around business ideas that they're interested in and integrating those businesses into the local communities.
Real paid for a consultant to come here and work with the instructors who are still teaching in this program to develop a curriculum concept. And Real didn't write that curriculum for us. They simply gave us the tools and we wrote it ourselves. It wasn't an idea of running a general business that everybody tried to fit into, but was the idea of taking a student's own business idea and have them to develop that idea in a way that they could understand and relate to it. In other words, them having a personal ownership in that process. An example of that is Brad Dodson, who came here from his own family business.
I do figurines. I started doing figurines, or gnomes, when I was about 12 years old. It's just a enjoyment I have. I don't feel like I'm working. I'm having fun. Put some hair on this guy.
Brad Dodson learned much about pottery in his family's business, but in order to start his own, he turned to Haywood for additional skills.
The program offers studio planning, and then you have marketing, and then you have business planning. In my family, I learned a lot of the basic skills of throwing and making items, but I lacked a lot of the technical skills, how to build a kiln, how to operate a business, how to understand marketing and business planning. And it was my goal to go to Haywood and achieve that. By the time you finish, you have a basic understanding of what it takes to start a business, to go and find financial backing or support, to approach a bank with a business plan.
Brad is going to be opening his own business that's separate from where his father's outlet is. He is currently in the process of remodeling a house that he has purchased that is going to be refitted into not only a workshop where he'll be making his pottery, but also where he will be selling it.
That Brad is so close to achieving his goals is testimony to his drive and initiative. But no one succeeds alone. The continuing support of the school and its teachers helps ambitious students like Brad weather the challenges that arise between hypothetical discussions in the classroom and the reality of implementation in the marketplace.
He and I have talked a great deal about this process. We've sort of lived and breathed it the past year. We've sweated over it. We've smiled about it. We've been enthusiastic. We've been depressed. We've been all of those things together. And so what this has evolved into is the fact that now a business teacher and a group of craft instructors are working together for planning and also for teaching and so also for follow-up and feedback to the students. And I think that that's the arrangement that we envision that this program working best, that a business teacher can't know all of those things, and in this case craft instructors can't know all of the business side.
Prior to Real, if you talked about business to a number of the craft students, they felt like that they were in art and crafts because they wanted to escape the business world and that nothing in business applied to them. Immediately those attitudes changed. They began to see the relevance to business training as it applied to their particular career goals.
Indeed, graduates from Haywood's Production Crafts program are using their Real training for impressive results. Since 1990, 2/3 have started their own businesses, and nearly 90% are still in operation, a very high percentage for business startups. Realizing success, the college also integrated the Real approach into its business department, continuing education, and several vocational programs.
There's things that I don't want to do that I have to do to make it work, but you know, I got to deal with paying a whole bunch of taxes and making sure that I can make the loan payment, but that's okay. I get to make pots. I get to make things I want to make.
At Haywood Community College, they've adopted the strategy of looking to their region's traditions to strengthen small businesses. In a different part of the country, a school is also looking to its area's cultural traditions, not for business ideas, but for a new approach to encouraging entrepreneurship among people whose values differ from the capitalist principle of individual profit.
Salish Kootenai College on the Flathead Reservation in western Montana established the Tribal Business Assistance Center in 1994 to provide counseling and instruction to any tribal member interested in starting or expanding a business. Through their work, they sensed the need for a new curriculum to address increasingly apparent issues.
Almost every client that walked in the door saying they wanted to start a business would tell me, I don't need to make any money at this. I just want to help my community. And I've had a heck of a time trying to get that translated into a business plan that's going to fly past a banker, because the first thing that the tribal business owner wants as their goals in their business plan is, these are all the ways I'm going to help my community, my family, and help myself. And what the banker wants is, how much is the profit? Are you going to pay back the loan? It's like they're coming from different values.
Individual gain is not the chief motivator in this community and may even be frowned upon, particularly if it comes at the expense of other community members or disturbs the natural environment. Yet the local economy needs profitable businesses to provide jobs for the region. At Salish Kootenai, an effort is underway to create business training that addresses cultural barriers to commerce. The American Indian Entrepreneurship curriculum not only teaches the standard business courses in planning, marketing, and management, but also teaches that Indian values do not have to be at odds with owning a business.
If my vision goes through.
The curriculum is centered around videotaped case studies that profile Native American entrepreneurs discussing not only how they go about running a business, but also how it fits into their value system. For example, Lisa Bryan is a business owner and college professor from South Dakota.
Manufacturing the fry bread is a very hard job for people to do because there's a lot of lifting, there's a lot of flour flying around. It's not a very glamorous business. You have to be ready to roll your sleeves up and do any job. But in terms of the Lakota values, courage, generosity, wisdom, bravery, I think you have to possess all of those as well if you're going to be successful in your business.
Each case study illustrates how personal and cultural issues can affect the way Native Americans honor their values in entrepreneurial practices. Throughout, students are reminded that creating a business is an excellent way of helping their family and community.
An entrepreneur moves upon a goal. A Native American person must have their goals and beliefs matched to their life, to their work. They can't disconnect. And it's a matter of matching the values and the belief systems to the goals of the entrepreneurial spirit and the vibrant initiative. And once you mesh that vibrant initiative to the belief system, and in our case, the belief system is for a common good, you have an incredible creative energy that comes forth, and you have actual problem solving that would knock your socks off.
You know, when I talk to young kids in my talks, I ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? And they say, come back and work for the tribe. I'm hoping that what they'll say is, well, I want to come back and own McDonald's. I want to come back and own Total Homes. I want to come back and own Let's Travel. I want to see them have vision of owning businesses.
For rural areas challenged by poverty and low educational attainment, and with few large employers, Growing healthy small businesses is a particularly important economic development strategy. Specifically, rural community colleges help small businesses define markets where they can sell their product or service. Access capital for startup and expansion. This is especially difficult for very small businesses and first-time owners. Develop better management practices, as businesses are often so busy making products or providing services they have little time to manage and plan. Access technology, because no matter the size or location of business, there are many computerized tools to improve productivity and competitiveness. As colleges help entrepreneurs develop ideas for new small businesses, they should recognize an important distinction between retail and service businesses catering to mostly local consumers and businesses that market to outside customers, bringing new dollars into the region. Local service and retail businesses are the heart of many rural economies, and every effort should be made to help them start up and thrive. But it's businesses that sell to customers outside the region that help develop a strong base for the economy. For instance, a rural region in Kentucky with several lakes spawned a firm that builds houseboats. The lakes are popular with tourists, and many out-of-towners purchase houseboats, keeping them on the area's waterways. In addition, the firm markets itself internationally and sells to buyers around the globe. A small company like Somerset Houseboats not only employs many people, but also sustains several support businesses. Finally, small businesses should work together. Very often, 2 or 3 companies find that sharing resources, expensive equipment, and real-world experiences helps them to improve. It's not easy overcoming competitive urges and suspicions, but often firms can work together in ways that make them more than the sum of their parts. The 3 schools profiled here have taken steps to nurture a culture of entrepreneurship by building on existing strengths such as a crafts tradition, or by encouraging self-direction in places where business ownership has not flourished, whether due to the presence of a single large employer such as coal mining, or because of conflicts within a people's value system. In every case, strategies center around giving ordinary people the tools to build businesses for themselves.